Okay, we're learning the Sikha. This is the first Sikha on Kiseitse and Chelik Yutes. We are in Seif Vav. It's on page 201. The Sikha discusses the Schar for mitzvahs. What does it say regarding the Schar for mitzvahs? L'man yarichon yamecha. That Schar is long life. What does it mean, long life? To live in this world forever. That's the type of long life. Gets boring after a while. What's his name? Moshiach. He lived longer than his Eneklach and our Eneklach. So he saw generations come and go, and he danced on a lot of chasanas, and he also went to a lot of Levias, and he just continued living. Interesting concept. So, I mean, not necessarily is living long life always a bracha. Depends what you do with it. Depends what you do.
Shach eventually started going off.
No,
Yeah.
but at
But that was
but at the very end, Hashem saved him from the mambo.
Correct.
He died
That's
right
the only
before
reason. Otherwise, he would have continued living. Chamazel, the Mabel came and took him into Gan Eden. Okay, let's get back to the Sikha here. So the point that the Rebbe is discussing is that the Gemara says, what's the man Yerichin Yomecha? It doesn't mean Gashmistic life. What's the proof? The story that happened that Rabbi Yaakov saw that an individual, his father, asked him to go and bring him birds to do the mitzvah of Shiluach Hakan. On his way down from the ladder, he fell off and died. From that, Rabbi Yaakov proved that there's no fulfillment of this schar in this world. The fulfillment is in Olam Haba. It's real life, eternal life, different quality of life in Olam Haba. Okay, so here the Rebbe is discussing what's unique about these two mitzvahs that the Torah writes, this promise of L'man Yirichin Yamecha. Which two mitzvahs does it write it by? Shiluach Hakan, as just discussed, and Kibbud Avayim. These are the two mitzvahs. What's the reason? And it's from these two mitzvahs that you learn to the rest of Torah. So regarding Shiluach Hakan, what we learned last week in Eis Hey was, the reason we learned it after from Shiluach Hakan is because it's a mitzvah that has a simple reason for it. What's the reason for the mitzvah Shiluach Hakan? Because we don't want to be cruel to the mother that you're taking the birds while the mother is there, and the mother doesn't want you to take the birds. So you send the mother away first, then you take the birds. That's the point of the mitzvah Shiluach Hakan. Meaning it's a mitzvah that has a seichel, a meaning, a tam. So from this we learn out, if a mitzvah that has a tam, the Torah promises long life. Definitely a mitzvah that has no tam to it, for sure. You fulfill the mitzvah purely because Hashem commanded, and you feel no reason for yourself what the point of the mitzvah is. Definitely you will get the schar of long life. That's the Kal V'Chomer. Okay, now just one more point before we start Sifav. The case that the Mishnah in the end of Masechta Chulin speaks about is where a person has a choice. Either he can use this bird, not fulfill the mitzvah of Shiluach Hakan, and use this bird for what purpose? For a mitzvah that's been separated from his wife for a long time. Or he's not going to use it for the mitzvah, and instead he's going to have Rachmanis on the bird. Who do you think is more important? The mother bird, the Rachmanis on the feelings of the mother bird, or the feelings of a husband and wife that have been separated for a long period of time after his mitzvah? Logically, there's no question. The relationship of the husband and wife is much more important than the mother, the tzar of the mother. So here's the chiddush that the Mishnah says: we don't push off the mitzvah of Shiluach Hakan, even for a case to be mitared the mitzvah. It's a special chiddush. So in this Mishnah, you see the point mentioned before that this is a mitzvah al pitam, but you also see the opposite point. It's not just a regular mitzvah. Let's see. Now here, let's continue inside Sifav. The Idach, from this halacha, we learn out the other point as follows. From Maskanas Adin, from the conclusion of the din that the Mishnah says, a person should not take the birds without sending away the mother, even if it's for the sake to be mitar the mitzvah is gedrungen. This proves as mitzvah shiluach hakan is nit al derech via mitzvah shbenot lachavere. It's not a kind of a mitzvah that you can put into the category similar to a mitzvah shbenot lachavere. With the point, what's the mitzvah of shbenot lachavere? The point of the mitzvah is for the benefit of whatever gain, whatever good your friend will have from this. The mitzvah of shiluach hakan is not in that category. It's not for the taiva of this bird, not to give tsar to it. That's not what the mitzvah is about. Nor anstatt taiva's chavera das taiva's heim. Okay, here. So the Rebbe says right away. And I mean, obviously, there's no chavera here. We're talking about the tsar of the mother bird. It's not even at all in that kind of a category. But over here, though, you see an additional point. It's not at all included in this category of mitzvahs that you're doing a mitzvah where the point of the mitzvah is the benefit that you could see from the fulfillment of the mitzvah. The Rabbi explains. But by a mitzvah, when it comes to a mitzvah, which the point of the mitzvah is the gain that your friend gets from this, is nitengeh the kavanah. Whatever you're thinking about, your kavanahs don't matter. If you're giving tzedakah to someone, does it make any difference? Kavanah doesn't matter. No, the ma'aseh b'poil. The main thing that matters is action. The seis is negeya, the toive, v'schaveiroi, bakum b'poil. The main thing that matters is that your friend is getting the tzedakah. Now, so over here in our case, if the whole mitzvah of Shiluach Hakan was just this reason that the mother shouldn't suffer seeing you take away the babies, from the mitzvah. So then, in a case where it's a choice, whether you should be worried about the mother bird or you should be worried about this husband that has been separated of his wife, so definitely definitely, the tar of the mitzvah is much more important. Peace between husband and wife is much more important than being concerned about the mother bird that's seeing you take away the babies. So what the fact that the Torah says that we put Shiluach Hakan on a higher level than bringing Shalom ben Ish le'Ishtai, it means that this mitzvah has something deeper to it, more than just the inyan of the tzar of the mother. So on one hand, yeah, it is part of the content of the mitzvah, but it's more than that. So he says, move on. So based on this, we can understand as with the smichas from the Kal V'chomer. When the Gemara says, or the Mishnah rather, says this Kal V'chomer, that we're learning got a Kal V'chomer from Shiluach Hakan. If this easy, light mitzvah that Torah says you live long life, and where does it bring this Kal V'chomer? To them din la yital chulu l'tar chulu, telling you that Shiluach Hakan is more important than the peace between husband and wife by mitzvah. Why is it bringing it there? Is the Mishnah mevayeh, because the Mishnah is trying to point out to you as the man yital l'chol varachta yomim vas meredom, when it speaks over here about the long life. Is nit the zel beschar was adam eichel perisein boilam hazeh v'kana kayemes loilam haba mesach tepeya. It's not the same kind of schar that the Mishnah talks about in the Mishnah of Mesach Tepeya that we say every morning. Every morning in Brachas we say this Mishnah. What does it say there? That those mitzvahs that there's a benefit when adam achaveiroi. So adam eichel perisein boilam hazeh. You have fruits, meaning reward of this mitzvah here in this world. Why? What is that Mishnah talking about? That mitzvah is actually talking about mitzvah shebin adam lachaveirai. Right, what is the Mishnah talking about? All the things that we say, no? What's the whole list?
Yeah.
It's talking only about things that are completely and purely bin adam lachaveirai. Right? Not Ian. First, no. Dvarim shabbat kibbutz ve'eim gemilas chasadim. Does say Ian Tefillah, yeah, but when you get to Shalom Echad Perisem B'Elam Hazeh v'Kana Kiyam S'Elam Haba, it mentions other things that are l'chayda, not only in Adam Lachaveirai.
Maybe you need Tefillah for to be mine to help your friend.
But it says also maybe, but it says Ashkom is based on Medrash, Shachris Varvis,
to be Mashal Dominion,
or to open up the shul, the first one.
but also to help
To heat up the mikveh.
That's the only one, no? We could.
No, also says Ian Tefillah. That's one that you
No, I'm
mentioned.
saying, and which other one?
That's it. The rest are all ben Adam Lachaveda.
It's on the Torah.
Yeah, was das is da. Hey, the Rebbe, look what the Rebbe says. Was das is dafke by mitzvahs sheben Adam Lachaveda. So you have to know exactly how you fit it in there. But this Mishnah is speaking about mitzvahs that are completely ben Adam Lachaveda. Why? Vibal das Chaveda hotefo not. If your friend is gaining a benefit from it in this world, you also get a reward in this world. You can't say you get the ultimate reward in this world because nothing in this world could live up pay you. Of this mitzvah, it's not the benefit that comes out of what you're doing. But the etzema pola, the very act that you do, which is taking or sending away the mother. As it says that this is even in the case of a mitzvah. So in that sense, the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKan is put into the category of a mitzvah that the Eibishter commands, and it's not for the benefit of the mother bird. So what is the Laman Yitav Lachav Varachta Yomim Loi Lamaba? So therefore over here the schar is not in this world. The schar is in Lamaba. That's the reason why the Mishnah puts these 2 points together to prove, to make the point to you that here you see that Shiluach HaKan is a mitzvah that's been Adam HaMokim. Yeah, here. What? No, not Kibbud Aveim. Talking about Shiluach HaKan. The Mishnah. The Mishnah is talking about just the mitzvah of Shiluach HaKan. So Shiluach HaKan is a mitzvah where the Torah promises long life. And this is a mitzvah. What's the long life of here of this mitzvah? It's for a mitzvah of Ben Adam LaMokim, not Ben Adam LaChaverei. Listening to Hashem, that's it. The Rebbe, so the Rebbe concludes, what do we understand from this?
Anything that's on Mokim is automatically Gan Eden?
Yeah. The Rebbe hot kein shayches nit. When the Torah promises long and good life for the mitzvah of Kibbud Aveim, has no connection here. Says Kibbud Aveim is from the mitzvah sheben Adam lachaveiroi was Adam meichel pereseim b'alamaza. Kibbud Aveim is a mitzvah that is for the benefit of the father and the mother that are enjoying your honor in this world. So you get the paytas of the schar in this world as well. But the Mishnah here that's saying that you don't get schar in this world is because it's speaking about a different kind of a mitzvah, ben Adam la'mokim. So that's the general distinction. There's ben Adam la'mokim and ben Adam la'chaveiroi. Ben Adam la'mokim, the schar is an elam haba. Ben Adam la'chaveiroi, the schar is an elam haza. That's what you see here from the Gemara. Yeah, but the chiddush is that Shiluach HaKan is considered to be ben Adam la'mokim. There would be a svara to say that Shiluach HaKan is sort of something that's beneficial not for another human, but for the bird, for the mother. But from this that we say that it takes precedent even over the Shalom bin Ishla Ishtoi, that's the proof that it's been Adam Lamokai. Therefore, we say that this is Arichas Yamim in Olam Haba, not in Olam Haza. Okay. One more shtickler we can learn over here. I don't know if we go through the whole Siv, but one more piece of here in Siv Zayin. So this is the Mishnah. This is before you come. This is the Mishnah where it discusses the mitzvah of Shluch HaKan. Shaykh says the Gemara Mamshach, but then the Gemara goes on to say and brings not only Shluch HaKan, the Gemara brings the story where it was both together, Shluch HaKan and Kibbud Aveim. So the Shaykh says the Gemara Mamshach. The Gemara goes on to say Tan Yedaber Rabbi Yaakov Vayimachulu. Rabbi Yaakov said, and what is the proof he brings? He brings the proof of the story where a person died when he fell off the ladder. What was the case? There's no reward in this world for nafal ameis, a person that fell and died. Over here, the mitzvah included both. It was Shiluach HaKan and Kibbud Aveim. But the real point that the Gemara is adding here is Dafke, specifically from Kibbud Aveim, that's the proof. Hayos is a mitzvah sheben Adam lachaveiroi. It's specifically from the mitzvah of ben Adam lachaveiroi is the raya as schar mitzvah b'hai al meleke. It's that part of the story that proves the chiddush of Rabbi Yaakov that there's no reward in this world. Okay, so you have two mitzvahs. You could prove the story included two parts. It was Shiluach HaKan, and it was also Kibbud Avein. From where does he prove that there's no schar in this world? Not from the Ben Adam LaMokim. The Dafke is proving it from the Ben Adam LaChaveiroi. There's where you prove there's no schar in this world. Why is that? Look, so based on what the Rebbe said until there, you could say that a mitzvah should be Ben Adam LaMokim. There could, well, the Rebbe explained logically the way this works. Chaveiroi that benefited from what you gave him in this world, so you deserve also to get schar in this world. The Eibishter is not Shaychas Olam Hazeh. So you do a mitzvah for the Eibishter's sake, so you get schar in Olam Haba. So it's understood, midah keneged midah. But even for a mitzvah, ben adam la'makom, theoretically, the schar could also be in this world. Eibishter can give schar in Olam Haba and in this world. Which one of these mitzvahs, ben adam la'makom or ben adam la'chaver, from where could be proved there's no schar in this world and it's only in Olam Haba? Dafka from ben adam la'chaver. So here the Rebbe goes back to the point that was made before, that by there's another distinction between ben adam la'chaver and ben adam la'makom. That by ben adam la'makom, the kavanah of the person matters. When I do a mitzvah for the Eibishter's sake, the kavanah that I'm having in the mitzvah is something that contributes to the depth of the fulfillment of the mitzvah. When you do a mitzvah ben adam la'chaver, your kavanah does not matter. As long as the poor person got what he needed, he did have kavanah, he did not have kavanah, it doesn't make a difference. Right? So that's the relevant point over here for the proof regarding the schar, that the schar is dafka neilan ha'olam haba. Let's see what the Rebbe explains. The Rebbe proves this. By mitzvah shiluach hakan, when it comes to the mitzvah shiluach hakan, which is ben adam la'makom, bald as das is a mitzvah ben adam la'makom, and ikir inyan is the etzem pulas a mitzvah. You're doing it for the Eibishter's sake. So what's a mitzvah? The act that you do. The fact that the mother bird, did suffer, did not suffer, that's not the main nekuda here. The nekuda is that you did what Hashem told you. So now in such a case, and here the Rebbe brings back a point that this was the question of the Rebbe earlier in the Sikha, that how are we proving anything from this whole story? Remember the Rebbe asked the question, how do we know what kavanah this person had? Maybe this person never had a kavanah to fulfill the mitzvah b'chlal. And not only that, the Rebbe said it's possible that he had a kavanah b'feidish not to fulfill the mitzvah. This machloik is in the Gemara whether mitzvah tzrichas kavanah or not. But what if this person had b'feidish a kavanah not to fulfill the mitzvah? Are you yaitz to the mitzvah? No. You never yaitz a mitzvah if you b'feidish have a kavanah not to do it. So how do you know that this guy that fell from the ladder b'chlal had kavanah to do the mitzvah? Maybe he fell down because he didn't want to do the mitzvah. That's the reason why he got punished. So the Rebbe answers, but there's a difference between ben adam la'chaveiroi and ben adam la'makom. Why? Because when it comes to a mitzvah, which is for the Eibishter, the Rebbe can a kavanah hofchis. In such a case, if you have a kavanah, I don't want to do the mitzvah, the kavanah nitz mekayim and the mitzvah goyim zayin, that will cause, as does the nitaysen can be a mitzvah, it won't be a mitzvah. Or b'meila, so then over here in this story that this guy fell down from the ladder is for nafal umeis, but shiluach hakan alein. The fact that he fell and died is no proof that there's no schar in this world, and we can learn it because it's possible. It's possible that he had a bad intention. He was thinking that I don't want to do a mitzvah with this. So if he thinks that he doesn't want to do a mitzvah with this, there's no mitzvah involved. That's by ben adam la'makom. By ben adam la'makom, the kavanah the person has will make a very big difference for the mitzvah. By kibbud aveim aber v'balt, this is a mitzvah shebin adam la'chaveiroi, to give honor to a father and mother, which is a mitzvah that you're doing for their gain, for their purpose. Was the rib is negay the tayela sapula. The main thing that matters is the gain, is the outcome of the mitzvah being achieved, which is as the avs of akum de kazalis. In this case, what did the father wanted? He wanted the birds. That's it. Isn't that negay the kavanah? Over here, what your kavanah is, it doesn't matter. It doesn't make a difference what you're thinking. If the father asks something and you fulfill what your father wants, you did the mitzvah. You had the opposite kavanah, doesn't make any difference. And the Rebbe proves this from the Medrash that says an even more extreme thing. The Sifri says in Parshas Kiseitze, and from where do you know? A person lost $1 out of his pocket. And a poor person picks it up. He took it and he used it, he spent it, and he ate from it. Ma'ilol of akosov ki'ilu zacha. That the person that lost the money, he never intended to lose it. He's upset that he lost the money. He's upset. Nevertheless, it's his chus that the poor person used his dollar. Even if he doesn't want it. Why? Because the main thing is that your money is not being used by a poor person. So you learn from this the Kal V'chomer. If you don't even want this at all. So the Torah considers it to be your schos. So if you have kavanah for this chos, Allah has kama v'kama. Most definitely, if you give tzedakah and you have in mind to actually share with the poor person, for sure you're going to have a mitzvah. So what do we see over here? By the mitzvah of tzedakah, the kavanah of the person giving the tzedakah doesn't make any difference. There's a famous story with Alter Rebbe also. I think it was Alter Rebbe. Or maybe it's a Tzedek. Someone came to the Alter Rebbe thinking, he complained that he says he does a mitzvah, he gives tzedakah, and he's doing it, he feels like ich bin the ganze kvir, and ich give tzedakah, and I invite everyone into my home, and everyone's coming to me, and it's all about me, and he loves the covet. So he feels like if this is a problem with his tzedakah, that it's not pure. So he answered, but the Araman is nicht negeh dein kavanas. The essen that he eats, he has the food and he eats, and your kavanas doesn't make any difference. So that's the point that I was saying here. Even if you have a kavanah that you don't want to do the mitzvah, it doesn't make a difference.
It's like a mikveh.
Like a
Mikveh.
right. Correct. Doesn't make a difference. The Rebbe does though Bavaran. Take a look in Order 52. The Rebbe Bavarans, even if the kavanah doesn't matter, but the attitude does matter. Okay, there's a big difference between having a wrong kavanah and having a bad, sour attitude. Look in Order 52. Pashut, it's obvious that the point that we're saying here, it's not a contradiction to what the Gemara says in Kedushin. Yesh, Maichel Aviv Pisyaini. There's a person that can give his father to eat Pisyaini, which is fat, best quality meat. But them in Olam. But he's causing his father to die young, because of the treatment that he's getting from his son that's doing it with such a bad attitude that the father goes on the son. Okay, yeah. Okay, very good. Thank you. Yeah, goes on the son, that the son loses his life because of the attitude that he has in the mitzvah. On the other hand, you could be giving your father just a simple meal, that you're grinding him some flour and giving him some bread. And this brings you to Olam Haba. Why? Because it depends on the attitude. Is the person doing it with his father and he's krachzing, I have to come serve my father again. What's this all about? Or he's doing it with a geschmack. Okay? So, we're discussing over here inside the Sikhe, the kavanah that the person's thinking in his head, am I doing it for the sake of a mitzvah or not? Not the attitude towards your father. That's a different story. But if you have a bad attitude and you're showing your father that you feel bad that you're spending this money or your time for his sake, you have a hard time with this, that's not something just in your head. You're actually giving a person gives his father tsar in this way. Okay, that's it. Okay, let's go back into the sikh to see the point there. When a person loses $1, is nit no was is nidod dabei ken kavana mekayim zayin mitzvah tzedakah. So he's not interested in doing the mitzvah at all. Not even more. Now tsar was of ma'abed. He's pained by this. Well, now for picking is a mekayim mitzvah tzedakah, but he has the mitzvah. Hayes as the mechuven in their mitzvah is as the Araman. The main point there is the result that the poor individual got the money, he used it, and he's happy with it. That's it. That's the main thing. In the story of Rabbi Yaakov, the father wanted to have the birds, and it doesn't make a difference what your kavanah is. This is not negeya, was the mzun's kavanah does given. Abiyah bring them to gezalos. As long as he fulfills what his father wants, doesn't make a difference what the kavanah is. Okay, so therefore the Rebbe concludes, and he says, move on as dafke from nofal lumeis by kiyum kibud of aim. Because the story wasn't just Shluch HaKam, but his kibbud of aim is the Ikeraya as Chametz by Amalek. That proves that there's no schar in this world. Hayes as does bleibt a mitzvah, afilim mit kavana havchis kana. Here it's a mitzvah anyways. This guy did a mitzvah. He went up to bring the birds for his father, and he's definitely doing a mitzvah. And therefore, it's from here that we prove was mizagin, the fact that he fell down and he died must be as nit nor by mitzvah sheben adam lamakayim nor oich by the mitzvah sheben adam lachaveiroi is erich yamecha b'aylam shekol yarach. The long life is not in this world. That's the main proof for this Indian, not from the mitzvah shiluch hakan. That's what Rabbi Yaakov is adding to the Mishnah. The Mishnah spoke about shiluch hakan. Rabbi Yaakov is saying that's not a real proof. In this story over here, you see regarding mitzvah sheben adam lachaveiroi. Here you see that the real schar is going to be dafke in olam haba. Okay, that's in it. He what?
He didn't have to die. Where did he die?
Stama, there was a reason why he deserved to die. Stama, definitely.
Yes.
But the fact that he did this mitzvah should have saved him from it. So it proves
Not here.
not in this world. Arichas yamim is in olam haba.
So if you live a long life here also.
Again,
It's not in the there to have a long life here in this world either.
correct. Okay, that's the Indian.
Yeah, I have the same question last
Thanks for that.
Yeah.
So what is it then? What did he see different than Rabbi Yaakov that led him totally
Straight.
or astray? A Tana. He wasn't just a stam Tana. He's the Rabbi of Rabbi Meir.
Yes. Yeah.
What did he see that caused this?
What did he see?
Check up the Gemara there in Chagiga. The Gemara in Chagiga. Take a look what it says there.